Okay, I've gotten a bunch of different questions about how you can make your own loops, and this is the program I use. It's Acid Music Studio. If you've one of the people that have watched my videos and asked the question of how to make your own loops, or watched any of my other videos, then you know that I'm using Acid Music Studio, the Acid software. And actually, for making your own loops, it's probably the best program because it has a very easy layout to use. You'll start. Making your own loops is very simple, really. Let's say what you're wanting to do is make your own drum loops. So you'd need some drum samples. Now let's say you're wanting to do like a typical 4 to the floor dance track. Okay, no, that's way too much. 1, 2, 3. And that's a loop. Okay. You want a little bit more in-depth info. Okay. Basically, a loop is a sample that plays over and over again endlessly without needing to be messed with. So the way you do that is you would have sounds for a certain length of time that can then just continue on and repeat it over and over again. So to engineer your own loops, it would be exactly like I just showed you. For example, if what you were wanting to do was a kick loop that you could use. You'd have your kick, and then you'd go in here to your effects, and then you'd EQ it and compress it if you wanted to, whatever. If it's a really good sample to start with, you might not need to do anything to it. And then you can just go ahead and render it out. And that's all you have to do. If you want something more complicated, it's just a matter of adding in other sounds. Okay, so let's say that that's more or less what you wanted to have. You could even have, some effects, some additional effects in there. basically as simple as it is. You get it to where you can just have it loop playback on there for like 4 bars, or if you want, you can go up to 8 or 16, however many you want, and then you just render that out as a wave file, good high, a high quality wave file, and then you just drop that into the song you want to use. I mean, the thing is, though, is that you need to get this very finely tuned and mixed before you can use it in something else, which is actually why, really, when you get down to it in the long run, it's better to just do it like this, to build up your sounds from scratch, your beats and stuff, because then you can do things like, instead of just having this one thing that's over and over again, you can go in and you can just add little variations. So instead of that right there, you get that slight variation of a double. Have more of a build up on that. Just those little variations are what makes it possible to listen to a beat over and over and over again for long periods of time through a track. You just take that and then you can go ahead and duplicate that out, and again, just make very slight just different variations. Go ahead and increase that and that just a little bit, so you're getting just a little bit of a different sound. And make that even darker sounding. Go ahead and go in here and make it like a quadruple shaker instead of that, and maybe put the double snare in a couple of different places. there are limitations to using loops, as you can see from that. I mean, that bass line's not going to change unless I go in here and cut it up and make it change. You know, whereas this, it's a lot easier to just go in and change stuff around. So if you're really wanting to make your own loops, that's how you do it. You just get it to loop and then render it out. That's as simple as it is. It's, you know, using the loops in the right ways, that's the hard part. You know, I've gotten to a point where sometimes I'll build entire songs out of loops just, you know, to come up with something interesting right quick. But for the most part, I try to do all my own stuff from scratch anymore. I mean, I'll use loops of, like, effects. That's a guitar thing. Rhythmic noises, percussion type stuff. I still use a lot of loops for, because that stuff's a little bit more tedious and difficult for me. But for my main beats, synth lines, I try to engineer and do my own stuff anymore. Because it's a freer way to do it. You have a lot more options than being tied down to loops. But since this video is about making your own loops, this is how you do it. You just build up what you want and then render it out. It's as simple as that. So yeah, that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.